going to read The Only Planet of Choice, Essential Briefings from Deep Space, Transceiver, Phyllis V Schlemmer. A provocative, mind-opening experience. James J. Hurtak, PhD. I read earlier this morning chapter 1. I'm reading now page 19. 3. God and Creation. While this chapter needs no introduction, there are many people who do not relate to any concept of God. Reading this could be an enlightening process leading us to review our own ideas of creation, sometimes unquestioned since the first receiving them. Tom. Tom speaks for the collective. It was necessary in the beginning to have a structured form of religion. The error was with those religionists who began to have control over others and to make themselves important instead of the understanding. Humankind is now revolting against this, and at this time there are those who are attempting to form a new religion. It is the old attempting to take the new and mold it in its own dimension. This is out of doubt and fear. Remember that this is the only planet of complete and total free will. John. Questioner. Are we likely to be asked in the future the question, what is God? Now we have some idea ourselves, but we would like to present a consistent and understandable answer to those who ask. Tom. What is God to you? John. Well, there's many ways I could answer that. I could say that God is the ultimate, or love, or Tom. It is unified, infinite, intelligent, supported with pure love. And it is and it grows with pure love. It is absolute faith and absolute love. That is God. If you have doubts that we exist, we do understand. But remember that in each of you there is God, and in each of us there is God, because God is love. And love is with us all. And if you doubt our existence at times, then remember what I have said to you. With God, all things are possible. And God is love. And keep your love pure. Because through this, then, the planet and this universe will be evolved. And we will all become one with God. You are witness to Him, to the being that is the universe. And remember this. Because you are also the universe, because you are one with God. When you understand that you hold within each of you the total power to change all, and you accept that, you truly become a divine being. Also, when you understand that what you term religions have in reality emanated from those of physical civilization, then you must not also begin to understand more about the Supreme One. That is unknown. Do not create gods from physical beings. This is emotional. Do not give power to physical things except inasmuch as you consider yourself equal to them. Understand that your planet Earth is on a precipice. If the population direction is not abated, it can contaminate your planet Earth to a degree that physical beings may not exist upon it. It would not destroy it, but physical being would not be able to live. Most important, be joyful. Be joyful and know that you hold within your core, your center, your hand, the ability to create transformation. You are not here by coincidence. You are here because you asked and chose to be. Know that because of you we also exist. And we love you for that. Yes. Maybe you explain to you the one God? Andrew. Yes. I would be most anxious to know. Tom. Imagine an umbrella, and each of the spokes of the umbrella, of which there are 12, would then feed to the top. It is the top, that one, is God, and actually of 12. Andrew. Is there a little point on the top, geometrically? Tom. Yes, the energy is fed and becomes the one. All the 12 feed to the one that becomes one. But the one cannot exist without the 12. It is the balance and the harmony, and it is what keeps the universe in harmony. It is this system by which there is not one that is in more control than others, but in unison together. Do you understand, Andrew? Yes, except no one, for one point, does the one who is made of the 12 indeed have an individuality of his own? Can he, so to speak, talk back to some of the 12, or is he the summation? Tom. He is a summation, but he may speak. Do you understand? You do not understand. Andrew. Yes, I do. I think I understand. It's a very complex, sophisticated notion. Tom. In the beginning there was one that understood that he needed to be of 12. So all the 12 is in truth the one. One. Do you understand? Andrew. Yes, I see the parts of him in the beginning. I see. They became parts of him in the beginning. Tom. Yes. While the number 12 is vital to the above conversation, during the communication of May 1994, Tom asked me to make it quite clear that this use of the number 12 does not refer to the Council. Not should it be used by humankind as a cultist number, and finally, to be aware that there could be some output, channelings and information, from civilizations not comprehending and saying that they are the 12. Guest. I wonder if you could comment on the Big Bang Theory. Recent satellite research, 1992, seems to have strengthened this theory. Tom. Althea has said it is this way. You know of the Creator. You know that what the Creator created was an energy. You know that energy was an aloneness and a void, and then in that aloneness, that which created intelligent had only self, itself, which was all-knowing, all wonder, all creativeness, encompassing all. But it is a truism that in the mind one can create a thought of expanding the mind with self. That which created came to the realization that expansion of all-knowingness, of created intelligence, of forward expansion would give more joyfulness, more quintessence. We do not know how to explain. It is knowing and not knowing at the same time. Over a period of time, if you play a game with your mind in your head, you reach a point in your mind where you know every game. Is that not so? Therefore, to create a game in which all parts of you had a choice to do as that part wished, but were connected, it would then create a game in which you did not know the results. Would that not be more joyful? That the supposition came, how do we create that game? Not we, you understand. The Creator thought this. It is we and all. It is you and all. So what is the best way to create that game? You can put it in a sphere and jumble it around, but then you would recognize every part within the sphere, would you not? Therefore, it is not better to release those energies to the most distant arenas. That is what happened. It was the releasing of the energy of the Creator that created. The intelligence that said, I know all I know. I know all I do. Now I do not know all. I do, and I do not know all I do. If you were to tell humankind it is a game, they would not understand. John. Maybe it can be explained because it is a beautiful concept that the Big Bang is the greatest game in town. Tom. Universe. Is a town a universe? Why, yes, Council said that a town is a universe, yes. Guessed. So you're confirming that the Big Bang astronomical theory of the beginning of the physical universe is the right kind of direction for scientists to follow? Tom. That is correct. Guessed. There's a question related to this, which is to do with a statement you have made several times. That is, you created us, and out of that creation you were created. Can you explain this a lot more? Tom, do you understand creation? Guess. I don't know whether I fully understand it, but I believe I basically understand it. Tom, without you, we do not exist. Without us, you do not exist. Guess. The thing which concerns human is that we get the sense that the Creator created us in a sequence of cause and effect. Tom, it is this way? Did we not explain that we are part of the created? Guess, certainly you have. Tom, so the Creator, without all cells and particles, is not complete, so when all cells and particles came together, that was the creation of infinite intelligent Creator. Example. There is a forest. In this forest there are many trees, and there are no humans, and there are no animals in it. Those trees begin to fall, and there is none to prove that there was a tree. For without the observation, there was nothing happening. Is that not so? Without the ears to hear, there was no sound. It was not so? Therefore, without those necessary ingredients for creation, there was not creation. It is an exchange. Then that which was created out of its own creation, which is all that is created, got bored. That's simple, is it not? Then what did that which get bored do? It explored and sent all particles and so on to the far ends. There are no ends in the universe, therefore all there is there knows all that all know. If only does not know that, I show that all knows. We say this to humankind. Each human knows in its innermost knowing that it is part of the Creator, the one that is called God upon planet Earth. They know they have come from the Creator. Therefore, if you come from the Creator, are you not part of it? If a mother births a child, can you say that child does not contain part of that mother? Even a mother who is implanted, that child still has the blood supply of the implanted mother. Is that not so? Then why is humankind not intelligent to understand that? That which created did not remove intelligence. Does humankind prefer to remain ignorant? So there is no responsibility? Guessed. Often we behave like that, but at heart I think we don't. Tom. We know they do not, yes. Do you understand that under us there are those that are human, that the humans call gods? John. Yes, I understand it, although they are not in reality gods. They have often been called gods on earth. Is that correct? Andrew. I think the best example we can think of is Jehovah, who is called God by many on earth. Tom. That is true. He is not a god, and in a sense he had a god. Do you understand the difference? We too are God. Andrew. Then there are lesser gods, you say? Tom. Yes. John. It would be perhaps helpful to have a definition of the word God in that sense. You say there are lesser gods. I'm trying to see what the word God means in that sense. Tom. We must explain. We, as a total, are God. One, do you understand? Gods, that is different. Do you understand? Tom. There is one God over other gods. The other gods are the representatives of the one God. Yeah? Tom. Yes, we are not representatives, but gods. There are gods of light and gods of darkness. Do you know why they are called gods? Andrew. I presume because they have extraordinary powers that are something like those of God. Tom. Of which we are, yes. John. What I'd like to try to find is what would be the dividing line. Because in a sense, Tom, we in truth are aeons, spiritual entities, formed from the divine presence. We do not call them God, you call them gods. You understand that in your physical world, anyone who is better than you is a god? Andrew. Yes, that's the general idea. We have sport clubs and love gods and media gods and all kinds of gods. Mickey, could you give us an understanding of God, the Creator? Tom, when you speak of God, do you mean the one that creates all? Mickey, yes. Tom, there are those that are called God, that are appendages to God, that also create. But there is one, the highest, that is of the purest light, that is a composite of all, that creates all. Each soul in the whole universe came directly from the true Creator. So each soul is imbued with this energy. There is a collection of beings that generate outward points of this source. But when they come together as one pure energy of collectiveness, then that energy becomes what you call God, that creates all. Each of these entities has individual knowledge of principles, but not of the whole. There's only one that has the whole. When those energies that you call negative upon your planet Earth attempt to destroy, attempt to control others, it is because they are in competition with God, the one Creator. For in that cells, they know the divinity within them, and their personality takes hold, and then they attempt to be God. It is sad, yes? Mickey, thank you. So in my understanding, God also represents the negative side. Tom, that is not so. God created all, and that which it became the negative went in competition with God. He does not represent them. I will attempt to explain. The council has said I must try. There are gardeners who have been to this planet Earth. There are those who seeded this planet. You are a gardener. We will explain it in this way. As you know, in your planting, you plant each seed with equal love, with equal nurture, with all that is necessary for it to grow strong and straight, in a manner of purity. There are some that are weak and some that are strong. There are those that you plant that become stronger to the point that they may strangle others. It is not so. When you must remove weed, transplant. But the Creator does not weed, does not interfere in free will, as you do with your plants. Then those who attempt to strangle and to take over others are fed by the energies of what you call negative. As we are fed by love, and they then begin to strangle all, they go in competition with that planted them, that created them. Is this some clarity for you? Mickey, yes. So originally what is now the negative ones came from the Creator, but did God leave them? Tom, when you say, did God leave them, we understand not. Do you mean, did he forsake them? Do you mean he threw them out? Mickey, yes. Tom, no one can compare with God, for they have not truth within. For God is a collection of purity, which means only goodness for all the universe. They threw themselves out by going in competition and having the desire to become all that is. That is not possible. For in order to do that, you must return to God. That is the sadness. They had not patience for understanding. They are attempting to disrupt the work of the universe. If you have one that you have loved, nurtured, fed, and have transferred great love to, and all you wished for them is for it to grow in healthy beauty, straightness, flexibility, and love, giving as it has been given to, but it chooses not to do that, then there comes a time when you come to a realization that it must find for itself, that it may not destroy others. And so in the universe it is not discarded, but it is also not fed and supported. For that which loves it, it attempts to destroy. What we are attempting to say is that God did not discard, but he does not help. For the negative refuses help. Is that clear? David, Can you tell me how you, as the nine, relate to what we would call the Holy Spirit? Tom, it is the Holy Spirit that governs us. There's the Son, the Father, and the Holy Spirit. Is that not so? Dare we say to you, you are the sons, and through us emanate the ones of Holy Spirit. And then there's the Father. John, I'd like to ask now about a biblical statement. In the beginning, there was the Word. Can you explain this in a way that we can begin to understand what that means? Tom, in the beginning, there was the Word. That is a translation error, but if you take it to mean that the Creator came forth and said that is, that I am, will be first, before the manifestation of any method or any creation, there was the communication of being. John, yes, I think I understand. What we would call the intentionality is explicit, and thought precedes action. Tom, that is an exactness, yes. By adding communication, it is strengthened. Mickey, I was thinking of the statement, God created man in his own image. Can you comment on that? Tom, that is correct. That is correct, which means that all that he is, you are. All that he knows, you know. All that is good is contained within you. All that is pure is contained within you. And know this, that God knows that in order to manifest the Spirit of God and soul within you, it is necessary to be in physical form for that soul to function upon a physical planet. A physical vehicle. A physical form that has evolved to the stage of having 2 arms and 2 legs and the senses to see or feel or touch or hear. And you also have the sense of knowing. Mickey, thank you. Can you comment on the importance of consciousness? Tom, consciousness is that elevation of humankind into a sphere of connection with that they created. You know that you created God, and that God created you. Do you know that? Mickey, no. Tom, do you know that God could not exist without your creation, and that you could not exist without his creation of you? Mickey, yes, I get that now. Tom, yes, that is the importance of conclusions. The following exchange introduces the civilization which will be examined in greater detail in the next chapters. Tom, we understand that Earth plane is its entrapment, its density, its illusionary factor, is an illusionary factor, yes? Irene, it would be so fun to have you here. Tom, the time will come when all of us will be in togetherness, at the time of the elevation and transformational density of planet Earth, in its rightful place of existence as the paradise of glory, yes? John, where is that going to be? Tom, upon planet Earth. John, whereabouts? He laughs. I don't ask when. Irene, your backyard. Tom, you speak of an exact location. In that time, all planet Earth will be the exact location, for it will not be necessary to have those elements of mechanical. John, communication, you mean, won't be necessary mechanically? Tom, not with that physical industrial mechanism. You may flip your hair and you will go. Irene, great, we're ready. Now specifically, I would like to go back to the creation and the 24 civilizations. Who created the 24? And were they in fact a creation? Or were they in fact elements and particles that were brought together by you, but in fact they don't have existence and you gave them order? Tom, that is a large question. It was in this nature. There was one creator, one energy, one pure light, one pure being self, that contained all components of all that is. It is extremely complicated, but in simplification, It came into that being the knowledge and wisdom to begin to divide the components of which it consisted. Not to remove them, but to build a structure, for in its aloneness it had only self for companion. That was not wrong, but it was more valuable to create a situation whereby there was a separate element, to create a situation that would then have the structure to give the cells that would be populating different environmental existences those portions necessary for its attainment of its choosing. For it was found in the creating by that was created out of nothing, that there would be the necessity to expand this creating. Now, what would be the purpose of creating nothing out of nothing? It was important to have created something. So the 24 universal civilizations were created as guides, elements of direction, elements of purpose, and also to know that there would be some areas of civilization, such as that of Althea, which would govern and rule that element of their existence all over the universe, as Ashan does with color, sound, and art. It was a way for the Creator to expand and provide and begin those elements necessary for expansion, because that once that was created, then the expansion would continue and it would go on and on. Therefore, it needed the different elements that would make expansion purposeful. If the expansion continued with only the creating of universes, with no purpose, then it would have served no purpose. Now, have we confused you completely? No, not only does it not confuse, this is the most brilliant thing I've ever heard. This was a communication made in 1975 to a group of 3 people. Tom. It is important now for us to pray together, because it is the beginning now of a sequence in which, if everything goes right, the result will be the saving of the planet Earth, and the understanding and awakening of the souls of planet Earth. As the 12 of us are together, remember that many times we have spoken to you and explained that with 12, and today it is the 9 of us, and this time it is the 3 of you, all things are possible. If the planet can be saved, and it will be saved, the entire universe will be raised to a level that all souls will have gained the nature of what they have searched for from the beginning of time. And remember that when the souls of the universe have calmness and joy and peace within their hearts and generate this love, it overtakes even those souls that are negative and dark and brings life and love to them. And can you imagine that what you have come to this planet for, to do, when you accomplish it, the entire universe will be glowing with a light that will be blinding, because it will be a light of pure love, and all will become one. And that is what all have striven for. Andrew, I was trying to define your existence, and then our existence, and then the relationship between the two, and I might just prompt you with a question. For example, are the 9 considered the ultimate source of knowledge, wisdom, and power, and so on in the universe? Tom, you are asking your relationship to us. Is this not so? It is what you would call infinite intelligence. It is not of 24, it is of 12, 9 of us and the 3 humans in a triangle. Andrew, all right. And if this is the fountainhead, or the unmoved mover, if that be a correct definition, then all your thoughts and actions somehow must be put into effect through other peoples or groups of beings. Tom, universal civilizations. Andrew, right. Do you yourself initiate the intelligence, the thought, but the action is always carried out by others? Tom, by the civilizations. Andrew, and then at one time you hinted there were 24 major civilizations through which you acted. Tom, when you say major, there are many, but there are 24 heads of civilizations. Andrew, I see. They themselves are part of those many civilizations, or just heads of large groups of civilizations? Tom, they are heads of civilizations. Andrew, and these are the Bible calls a council of 24 and the elders and so on? Tom, it would be the Congress. John, one question about that. These are all working on the same side, the positive side, or as the 24? Tom, the positive and the negative must be blended to make a whole. It is as we have explained to you. To be positive with no sense is not as good. They are balanced civilization. Do you have that in clearness? Andrew, I think we do now. Tom, when you speak of positive, remember, refer to it as a balanced positive. Andrew, now, under those 24, could you give us example of one civilization, let's say Hoover? Where does it fit in under the 24? Tom, when you speak of the 24, you speak of the heads of the civilizations. There is one you know as Jehovah. Andrew, Jehovah. And then under him is his civilization. So that Jehovah is one of the 24? Tom, yes, it is known as Hoover. But he would have as a pyramid many under that. Andrew, I see. There would be many civilizations, right? Okay, now that clarifies that part. Now take our existence as ordinary human beings. Where do ordinary people come from? And why do they come here? And where do they go? This is one of the great mysteries to us. Tom, all beings, all species come from us. There's the question that is asked by all beings and all species, and it is what you have asked. Who am I? Where did I come from? And where am I going? Is that not so? Andrew, that is the question. Yes. Tom, all species and all beings are particles of us. There's not a way for you to have understanding. How may we explain? Andrew, well, I have the understanding that they are part of you, but they go through many cycles of existence before they reach Earth. Is that not so? Tom, remember that the planet Earth is not that evolved. We are looking for an analogy to give to you. Andrew, well, would you say, for example, that those who come to Earth all come from another given civilization or planet or something like that? Or state of existence? That is there a regular sequence or place to which they have to go before they come to the planet Earth? Tom, not in a particular planet. Depending on the needs of that soul, some souls need more than some other souls. There are levels of intelligence. There are levels of consciousness. Not all are equal. Remember this, it is not true that all are equal. There is a soul. The soul is a particle of us. If you have a giant electric spark and you put two together, that would cause a giant electric spot. There would be sparks that would come off it. Those sparks would be part of us. But each of those sparks would either die out, or continue to glow. Some may create a fire, and some may grow slowly, but it would depend upon the ambition of the spark. Andrew, yes, now, when that spark cycles through Earth and achieves its full potential, does it go through other civilizations? Tom, it must. Andrew, it doesn't return directly to you? Tom, it will continue for millions of years, but it cannot continue if it stays upon the planet Earth. If you will recall, in previous communications, we had explained to you that the planet Earth is the only planet within the universe that has the variety of animals and plants. It is the most beautiful of all planets, because of the different varieties. This, in a sense, attracts the souls, and they have desires to remain upon it. In other civilizations, the souls feel, and they have all the qualifications which you have, but it is more physical upon the planet Earth. John, there is a very large question. What is the purpose of a soul, on all its civilizations and so on? Tom, if a soul becomes what you call perfect, then it is, if we could explain this to you, in your mind you may feel that we are all cannibals. Andrew, well, we want the truth, and I think you know us well enough to know that we would not jump to that kind of erroneous conclusion. What we're really asking If we had to tell to a human being what the purpose of life is, what is the most succinct answer? Tom, you may tell what has been told to humans many times, but was not given to them in clear understanding, that the purpose of their existence and the purpose of their living is to return to whence they came. Andrew, yes, and how can they, while they are on this earth with all its problems? What is it that they can best do in order to return to the source? Tom, if they would treat all as they have a desire to be treated, if they would walk in dignity and permit no one to remove their dignity, and if they would have love for all their fellow humans, and for all those that touch them, for this in return sends love to us. We ask not that they have a total understanding of us. Andrew, yes, but in essence then, God feeds on this kind of nectar, as to say. Tom, yes. Andrew, I think that people would love that idea. Tom, we have the creation, we have created this, but it in truth has created us. Andrew, now that part which, let us say, you feel on, is it totally immaterial, that nature of love, something that has no material or physical existence? Since you're not material in any way, you must feel on something immaterial. Tom, it is an energy. It is not something you may hold in your hands. It is a spark that is a glow that emanates, and it grows, and it becomes a shining sun, and then it returns to us. Andrew, yes, I find that very beautiful and very satisfying. Don't you, John? John, yes. This is the upward spiral, I imagine. Then it's sent out again on a higher level. Is that so? Tom, yes. It is integrated. Andrew, now how do the other creatures on earth fit into this plan? And I speak of birds and fish and cattle and so on. Tom, they have more love for us than the humans. They have a greater understanding of us. Andrew, and when they live this way, do they also come back as sparks directly without having to go through our human form? Tom, they are not a human form. They are planted, and they have been brought to the planet to give to the souls upon the planet Earth, how may we say, for them to cause humans to ask in their mind, what created this? How did this come to be? It is to jog their mind. Do you understand that? Andrew, I think so. For example, we were watching two hawks today, and they were incredible and beautiful, and they were mating, as it is the season for mating, and we wondered about their span. They live in such freedom and apparently love and dignity. Tom, it is the purest love. Andrew, and we wondered, for example, whether their souls would spark too. If they achieved perfection, would they go directly back to you? Tom, they feed to us. Andrew, and bees, for example, that collect honey are in tune with each other and their environment, do they feed you too? Tom, remember this. Your planet is the only one in existence with this nature. So this was up to page 33, and it was chapter 3 of our planet of Earth. And next time I will read the universal civilizations on page 34.